Welcome to MTG Friends. Let's do a Commander deck tech. We're going to do something that's fun and different in a Voltron style Kosei Penitent Warlord. Voltron being that we're going to get this Commander out and just start stacking awesome stuff on it. What does this Commander do, you ask? Well, it's got three things we got to get going on for it to start triggering. As long as Kosei Penitent Warlord is enchanted, equipped, and has a counter on it, those three things, it triggers. Whenever it deals combat damage to an opponent, you draw that many cards, and it deals that much damage to each other opponent. Boom. All right, so we got packages, folks. We got packages. Yes, we got the land package, of course, but we got the counters package, we got the enchantment package, and we got the artifact packages. So counters, some protection pieces as well, a couple doubling up spells, some draw, ramp, of course, because, you know, we're in green. We're going to be ramping, folks. Enchantment package, like I was saying, and then a little bit of removal in green, and our equipment. Lots and lots of equipment for that Voltron stuff. Couple shenanigan cards, couple tutors, and then just a few graveyard pieces. Nothing too spectacular in that realm. All right, so let's go through this. And as usual, the deck will be in the description. Go ahead and comment on anything you want. This deck with the maybe board here can be swapped in for a deck that's sub 100 bucks. I put in the stuff that I like, that I find spicy. It's going to run you a few hundred more. This is not going to be a super expensive deck for you to put together, but there are lots of swaps that you can put in that'll make it a little more palatable if that's what you're going for. But as you guys know, if you know this channel, we don't do budget stuff. We just go for it. We go for it, y'all. All right, you know what? I'm going to make that just a little bit smaller so we can see everything. All right, so we got the counters. And just keep in mind, a lot of these counters are going to be in the form of enchantments as well. Because, again, just remember, we're trying to get it to trigger with those three things it needs for its requirements to draw and do damage. Whew, really over-explained that one, didn't I? All right, force adaptation. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a 1/1 counter on enchanted creature. This thing is fabulous. Hydra's growth, even better if you ask me. Enters the battlefield, gets a 1/1 counter on it, and then at the beginning of your upkeep, it doubles the counters it has every turn. Double the number of 1/1 counters. Ooh, yes. Invigorating Surge, totally swappable card, but it really fits nicely in the synergies of this build. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control, then double that number of 1/1 counters on that creature. So we're wanting to get counters, get this creature super big, and then also give it protection with the equipment that we have in this build. I'm really talking with my right hand right now for some reason. Predatory Hunger. Whenever an opponent successfully casts a creature spell, put a 1/1 counter on enchanted creature. Super awesome. Sword. I think we're running just this main sword, maybe two, but I'm pretty sure this one, because it has Proliferate. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, put a 1/1 counter on it, and then Proliferate, y'all. Proliferate. All right, in terms of counters, this is a little different. Titanoth Rex. Yes, it's got a ridiculous cost for casting. Almost didn't get that out. 7 colors, green. It's an 11/11, but it has Cycle for 2. Whenever you cycle this bad boy, you can put a trample counter on target creature you control, which is going to be targeting our Commander. Or in a pinch, we can actually hard cast this thing and get a creature out there that we can also Voltron. Doubling Season, because we're going to double up. And we're really just having Doubling Season and Vorinclex, which both do similar things. Whenever you get a +1 counter, you get 2 instead. You get an additional. And Vorinclex has the addition of making your opponents get half as many counters on permanents they have. Plus, it's a trample haster 6/6 for 6. I mean, this thing is pretty badass. All right, we got some draw. Now, I know a couple people in my play group do not like this spell because it costs 4. But you know what? In green, we're going to draw 3 cards. It costs us 4. I'm all about that, especially if we haven't been able to get our commander to stick on the board and we just need to get a few more cards in our hand, y'all. In our hand. Toski does some similar stuff. That's even better. What am I doing? Mad Clicker's Disease. Momentous Fall. This one is specifically in here to target our own commander if there's a board wipe or an exile spell, or we just have mass removal that we can't get around. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice creature. You draw cards equal to the sacrifice creature's power, then you gain life equal to its toughness. Most likely this is going to give us a bunch of cards, yo. A bunch of cards. Yeah, I didn't think Jumpstart was the first iteration of this. It is not. Same artwork, apparently. All right, Wild Speaker. We got this in here specifically for the draw cards equal to the greatest power among non-human creatures you control. There you go. Rishkar's Expertise for 6. Wow, does this cost a lot to cast. But we get something for it. Draw cards equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. You may cast a spell with mana value 5 or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. There you go. There you go. Soul's Magistry, another one for 5. Draw cards equal to the power of target creature you control. So assuming it's on the board, you cast this, you get lots and lots of cards. Get through those cards and just start Voltroning this bad boy up. Toski, Bearer of Secrets. I mean, in a pinch, we can also Voltron this. How many times am I going to say Voltron in one episode? All right. Toski, Bearer of Secrets for 4. Indestructible. Can't be countered. And if any of your creatures smack a face, you draw a card. Boom. All right, enchanted. So we can get that trigger on our commander. Alpha Authority for 2. Enchanted creature has hexproof and can't be blocked by more than one creature. Yes, hexproof. We don't want Shroud. We want hexproof so that we can target it, but our opponents cannot. Bear Umbra, I really like this one. It's got totem armor on it, which means if enchanted creature would be destroyed, instead remove all damage from it and destroy this order, as in Bear Umbra. Enchanted creature gets 2/2 and has, whenever this creature attacks, untap all lands you control. I mean, for a 4-drop enchanted aura, I think this is pretty badass. Blanchwood Armor, enchanted creature gets 1/1 for each force you control. We got a lot of force in here. This is a cheap spell. This is great. Now, we don't just have all force in here, but we do have Yavimaya, which makes all of our lands force as well. So that'll work out. I promise you. Dryad's Favor for 1. Enchanted creature has Forest Walk. Ha! Forest Walk! You see what we're doing there? Eldrazi Conscription. I just put this in here because it's super hilarious, and if we have Voltron going on and they can't get to our creature and we have hexproof, you put a +10/+10 on it and trample and Annihilator 2. Whenever attacks, defending player sacrifice 2 permanences. I mean, fabulous. I'm losing my ability to speak English. It's so fabulous. It's ridiculous. It does cost 8. But it's super awesome. That thing wins games. Gaia's Embrace for 4. Enchanted creature gets 3/3 and gains trample. And you can pay 1 green to regenerate the enchanted creature. So if we get a board wipe that's not a Wrath of God or something like that, this will handle that. Except for like Farewell, which exiles those kinds of things. Instill Energy. Enchanted creature is unaffected by summoning sickness. Gives a green creature haste. What? And for 0, untap enchanted creature. Uses ability only during your turn and only once each turn. Rancor. Who doesn't love Rancor? Enchanted creature gets 2/0 and has trample. Whenever it's put into a graveyard from the battlefield, return it to your hand. Yes. I believe we have one more Totem Armor Umbra, and that's this one. There's a couple more, but I think these are the 2 top ones. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1, and whenever this creature deals damage to an opponent, you may draw a card. Draw. We want to draw lots and lots of cards. Blade of the Blood Chief. Normally you want to see this in a vampire deck, but this works really well, synergizes well with what we're trying to do with this build. Whenever a creature dies, put a 1/1 counter on equipped creature. If equipped creature is a vampire, put 2 instead. Cost 1 and equip 1 for 2. That's just bananas great. And creatures are going to be dying, yo. creature's going to be dying. Commander's Plate, we're in mono, so why wouldn't we want to do this? Plus, we're really only going to be equipping our commander most likely. Equipped creature gets 3/3 and has protection from each color that's not in your commander's color identity. All the stuff except for green. Darksteel Plate for 3 plus equip 2. Indestructible. Equipped creature has indestructible. Fire Shrieker. Equipped creature has double strike. Yay. Thumbs up. Me. For 3, equip 2. So for 5. Grafted Exoskeleton, if we just want to smack him in the face and end the game or end their play in that game. Equipped creature gets 2/2 and has Infect. Ooh, Infect means you're gonna die. What? Whenever becomes unattached from a permanent, sacrifice that permanent. Hammer of Nazan. When it enters the battlefield under your control, you can attach it to creature you control. Equipped creature gets 2/0 and has indestructible. Hexproof and indestructible is a pretty nice combination. Loxodon Warhammer. Let's give our dude some trample and lifelink. I mean, who doesn't love some lifelink? Equipped creature gets 3/0 and trample and lifelink. Yes. Does cost you 6. 3 to drop, 3 to equip, but that's all right. It's all right. Ring of Colonia for 2. Equipped creature has trample. If we didn't already have trample as well. Okay. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a 1/1 counter on equipped creature if it's green. That's the part we really like. For 2 and then 1, so a total of 3, we get this thing on there. And we can start getting the +1 counter on our commander. Shadow Spear. This is playing double duty like it always is. Shadow Spear is so unbelievably cool. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has trample and lifelink. So it doesn't create the 1/1 counters, but it does give us trample and lifelink. And for 1, permanents your opponent's control lose hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Haha, they're not going to be Voltroning against you, y'all, with Shadow Spear out. Shield of Kaldra. This one gives us indestructible. So yes, we have a few spells that are indestructible, but you know what? You can never have enough. You can never have enough. So one over the other, etc., etc. All right, Swiftfoot Boots. We all know what Swiftfoot Boots does, right? Gives your creature hexproof. Sword of the Animus. Crack this early on, and you start fetching basic lands that come in tapped. Trailblazer's Boots gives you non-basic land walk, which means you're going to be swinging at somebody because the reality of, or the likelihood of you running against 2-3 other people that all are running basic lands is pretty much impossible. Unlikely at best. All right, Balaged Recovery, a land, or return target card from your graveyard to the hand. Got a couple graveyard recursion. Eternal Witness to go grab a Tutor's Battle. You may return target card. That's all I wanted to say was card. Sometimes it's creature. But yeah, Eternal Witness is great because of that. You can go grab whatever the Helter Skelter you want. Regrowth. Return target card from your graveyard to your hand. We can go grab some more stuff. All right, so the land package is pretty straightforward. We're not going to go way into this. Some of your ramp stuff like Ancient Tomb, Bonder's Enclave is in here because most likely we're going to have a creature with 4 or greater that we can tap for 3, draw a card if we need to. 21 Force, Forge of Heroes. This gets our +1/+1 counters things to trigger. Choose target commander that entered the battlefield this turn. Put a 1/1 counter on it. Blah, 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 blah. Very, very helpful when we're trying to get that trigger. This one also tap, put a 1/1 counter on target creature, activate only as a sorcery, and only if you've cast an instant or sorcery this turn. So you got to make that happen, Captain. All right, Inventor's Fair. For 4, sack Inventor's Fair, search your library for an artifact card. So we can go tutor up exactly what we need in terms of an artifact, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Activate this ability only if you control 3 or more artifacts, which is going to be very, very likely unless there was a serious board clear. Nykthos because we're in mono green. Devotion, tap it for 2. Reliquary Tower because we're really likely going to have tons and tons of cards. Roadside Reliquary. I actually put this in here because we're going to be able to trigger it most likely with us having an artifact and enchantment, which then gives us 2 cards for cracking it for 2. Oh, Tyrite Sanctum. Target legendary creature becomes a god in addition to its other types. Put a 1/1 counter on it. Triggers! And then for 4, sack it and put an indestructible counter on target god. I mean, that fits in perfectly. Urza's Saga. This is in here because we can go fetch some ramp. We can go fetch an artifact that we may want on its second turn, or no, search your library for an artifact. It's its third part of the saga. So that is actually gonna go fetch us stuff that we can utilize, especially in equipment, or if we need, you know, to go grab a soul ring, that kind of thing. War Room to draw for 3, costs us 1 life because we're in mono green. And Yavimai Cradle, so that all lands are a force in addition to other stuff. All right, we are getting through it, folks, getting through it. All right, so protection. We have the stuff you would expect to see, but I decided let's throw in a bunch of fogs. So I grab in some fogs so that we can really throw the board state off. Blessed Respite, and actually I didn't run fog in here because these ones do additional fun things. Blessed Respite for 2, target player shuffles their graveyard into their library to prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. So in case we need to deal with zombie stuff or whatever, we can do that. Heroic Intervention, because we're in green, permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible at the end of turn. Lull, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. Plus we can also cycle, draw a card if we need to. Mirror Shield, technically protection. It's mainly that it gives us +0, +2, and hexproof. And if we block or get blocked by a Death Toucher, it gets blown up. Death Touch blocks, becomes blocked by this creature, destroy that creature. Love it. Mirror Shield is a very, 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 very underrated card. Obscuring Haze, one of the weaker play it without your commander for no cost. Prevent all damage that would be dealt this turn by creatures your opponents control. But it works really well because of what we're trying to do here. Sirith the Viper Fang. This one gives us hexproof if your creatures are untapped, which is very useful if we haven't been able to get on the hexproof stuff yet onto our commander. Other tapped creatures you control have Death Touch as well. And for 1 tap, untap another target creature or land you control. So it just gives us a lot of versatility. So we smack somebody and they have a spell that can do removal for sorcerer speed. We can then untap it, that kind of thing. It's all good in the hood. Very, very nice. Silent Arbiter, another nice little unique protection piece for what we're doing. No more than 1 creature can attack each combat. No more than 1 creature can block each combat. And since we're typically going to be swinging in with just our commander or another creature we Voltron up, this is super useful. Winds of Qualsima, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. Or with Ferocious if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. Instead, prevent all combat damage that will be dealt this turn by creatures your opponents control. Boom, boom. Shakalaka. Mark of Sakiko, because if we're going to be drawing a bunch, we want to be able to do something with those cards. Enchanted creature has whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, add that much green to your mana pool. This mana doesn't cause mana burn until, and you can tell this is an old card by how it just said it doesn't cause mana burn. Till end of turn, this mana doesn't empty from your mana pool as phases end. Nature's Lore. Oh, we're in ramp. We're in ramp. Yeah, that's why we were talking about Sakiko. All right, Nature's Lore. Search library for a force card. Put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle. You know, I skipped putting in stuff like Cultivate, 3-drop, 4-drop, go grab lands, and put in 2 drops. One with Nature. Whenever enchanted creature deals combat damage to a player, you may search your library for a basic land card and put that card into play, then shuffle. Rampant Growth for 2. Go grab a basic land. Comes in tapped. Search for Tomorrow. Pay 1 to suspend it for 2, and then go grab a basic land. Put it on the battlefield. Untapped. Soul Ring. Yep. Tanuki. Transplanter. Whenever Tanuki Transplanter or equipped creature attacks, add an amount of green equal to its power until end of turn. You don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. And it's got the reconfigure. So you can swing with it or you can reconfigure it onto our commander. 3 visits, go grab a forest, put it on the battlefield. Ancient Animus, we're in removal now. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. If it's legendary, then it fights target creature an opponent controls. Beast Within, go remove a target permanent, get a 3/3 beast for their troubles. Force of Vigor, if your commander's out, costs you nothing. Destroy up to 2 target artifacts and or enchantments. Nature's Claim, destroy an artifact or enchantment, give them 4 life. Ram through. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. If the creature you control has trample, excess damage is dealt to that creature's controller instead, which is most likely gonna trigger because we got lots of trample mechanics in here. Bow of Nylea, this is great. Choose one. The first one being the main one. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature. Or Bow of Nylea deals 2 damage to target creature with flying. Or you gain 3 life. Or put up to 4 target cards from your graveyard onto the bottom of your library in any order. Most likely, you're going to trigger the first one. Seki Season's Guide, some shenanigans. Comes into play with 8 1/1 counters on it. If damage would be dealt to Seki, prevent that damage. Remove that many 1/1 counters from Seki. And put that many 1/1 counters, many 1/1 colors feature. Jeez. Holy shnikes. And put that many 1/1 color spirit creature tokens into play. Sacrifice 8 spirits. Return Seki from your graveyard to the play. So comes in with 1/1 counters. Doubling Season could really make this go off. Plus, if we need to use an alternate creature for some Voltron action, this thing is going to be Wunderbar. All right, some tutor. Ring of 3 Wishes. Enters the battlefield with 3 wishes on it. For 5 tap, remove a wish counter from Ring of 3 Wishes. Search your library for a card and put that card in your hand. Then shuffle your library. So even though it costs 5 and then another 5, by the time we got this thing rolling, you're going to be searching for exactly what you want. Very cool card, very useful in this. We didn't run Sylvan Library because we don't have a lot of life gain, although you could absolutely swap Ring of 3 Wishes out for Sylvan Library. Worldly Tutor, search your library for a creature card and reveal that card, shuffle your library, then put that card on top of it. So in a pinch, if we absolutely need to go grab a creature because we are running incredibly lean with creatures, this can help us go grab one if our commander's been whack-a-mole too many times or whatever the situation. And then we have our maybe board, folks. All right, so like I said at the beginning of this episode, the maybe board is in there to swap in some more budgetary stuff if you want to get the cost of this build down. I already mentioned a few swaps you could do. This thing is going to be super fun. I am putting this one together in cardboard, if not already by the time that this is hit the YouTube for you to check it out. Put in the comments if you put this together, if you like it, if you're putting it together, or if you just think there's cards that you would prefer to see in there. Whatever. I will answer your comments and or questions. All right. Thanks for checking us out. Thanks for tuning in as usual. Peace out. Peace.